Hi, it's Fleur here again. Our second presentation today is also about information organisation, but it's organising your information in paragraphs. Now, there are many ways that paragraphs can be organised. Today we are looking at one common way, which in academic writing is a useful pattern to help you with your coherence, which is making sense, and cohesion, which is flow, and to ensure that you have all of the elements that are required in your writing. So, have you crafted an argument? Have you supported that argument with outside literature? And have you got a place in your paragraphs for your voice, for your evaluation? So that's the focus of the session today. There's only a few slides, but again, as we go through, I'd like you to pause and think about the questions I ask you before moving on and hearing what I have to say about the paragraphs, the example paragraphs that are here. So you will recognise this paragraph from the ideas that we introduced in the previous session on skeleton planning. So this is the first paragraph of the first section, on epidemiology, host species. How is this paragraph organised? You should be able to read this and see 4 different types of organisation. So push pause, read the paragraph, and see if you can find 4 types of information. I'm going to give you a clue. I'd like you to look out for, let me write them down. Evidence in here. I'd like you also to look out for evaluation in here, not necessarily in this order. I'd like you to look out for a topic sentence, and explanation. So those are your 4 things. As I say, see if you can find them. Same paragraph now, everyone, but I have colour-coded the 4 different types of information. See if you can now think about matching them up with their labels, I guess. Topic sentence, explanation, evidence, evaluation. So a topic sentence, it's the first one, and this is the red writing here, okay? This is the topic sentence. So what is this sentence? Let's read it out. A number of various species have been infected with rabies in Bhutan, but dogs are at the centre of the maintenance of this disease. Okay? So this sentence is the controlling sentence of the paragraph. If a reader reads only this sentence, they know what the rest of the paragraph will be about. The rest of the paragraph is going to talk about dogs and how their role is at the centre of maintenance of rabies. Now, any one sentence, any first sentence is going to need explanation. Yeah, you can make a claim, but then you have to start explaining what you mean by the first sentence, and that's what this blue writing is, the explanation. Now you can see here that there's two parts of explanation in this sentence. It's not always as simple as a clear topic sentence, then an explanation, then evidence, then evaluation. Sometimes we deal with parts of it, and then we have to give some evidence for that part, and then we have some more explanation that needs to happen before we give more evidence. So talking about, in the topic sentence, a number of various species have been infected with rabies. So what are those? Let's explain that more. Okay, they go in the blue writings. There's been reports of rabies in dogs, cattle, sheep, horses, cats and pigs. But they, in the topic sentence, wanted to talk about dogs having the central role. Yeah, that's explained more as well. Yeah, Tenzin identified free-roaming dogs as the main reservoir animals responsible for maintaining the urban cycle. So this is explaining out this topic sentence more. So as we know, in any academic writing, any claim you make has to be backed up with good, solid evidence. So the claim that's being made is that dogs are at the centre of the maintenance of rabies in Bhutan. We've explained that. The writer has explained that it's free-roaming dogs. And then they have got some statistics here in the yellow, which of course acts as the evidence for that. Yeah. So from a total of 814 reported cases of rabies, 94% have been in dogs and cattle. Okay, so that is giving numbers in the form of evidence or evidence in the form of numbers for the point that's being made. But there may be a little more explanation needed, why is cattle part of this 94%, and how does that relate to the information? So we have more explanation in blue, and again, more evidence from outside sources in yellow again. Now, if you were studying at an undergraduate level, might be enough. You've provided a clear paragraph with a controlling idea in the topic sentence. You've explained the idea, and you have given evidence to back this up. But at master's level, at postgraduate level, that's not enough. You are also needing to be present in your own writing. Where is the writer? The writer controls the organisation, but also the writer needs to make critical comment. And here that is in green. So critical comment, writer's voice, is also known as evaluation, I guess. And that's what this is looking at, isn't it? It is possible that Tenzin's paper does not fully reflect the reality of species affected by rabies in Bhutan, as farmers may be more likely to report cases of rabies in cattle than in goats or other less valuable stock. So what is the writer doing here? This, in the green writing, this doesn't come from a source. This comes from the writer's own understanding of this information and own critical evaluation of the sources. Absolutely necessary, and that's what your lecturers and markers are really looking for. So in summary, a good paragraph needs to have a clear structure to it. As I say, this is just one useful structure to hang on to: topic sentence, explanation, evidence, evaluation. But there are other ways and other patterns you can use. Get hold of this one first, because it will take you a long way. At master's level, you have to have the evaluation in your writing. It's necessary to reach your goal and to be passing papers at this level. So, we just looked at the first paragraph, obviously, that was the topic sentence of it here. Yeah. So we found that the pattern started with this topic sentence. A number of various species have been infected with rabies in Bhutan, but dogs are at the centre of the maintenance of this disease. We had explanation, then evidence. We had a little more explanation, evidence that backed that bit up, and then the writer's voice came in. So you can see it's not always as linear and simple as topic, explanation, evidence, evaluation. In this case, topic, explanation, evidence, more explanation, more evidence, and evaluation. But everything is here. Have a look at the next paragraph's topic sentence. Other host species also exist in Bhutan, but their role is distinctive from the dog population. Okay, so from reading that sentence, you may find, well, you will be able to have a good understanding of what the next paragraph will cover. So what do you think you are going to read in the next paragraph? I would say that you are going to find that there are other host species, and you will get explanation and evidence about however many types there are. Okay? Now, you might end up with evaluation after that, after all of them. Or it might be that this paragraph has explanation, evidence, evaluation about one host species, and then it goes on to the next explanation, evidence and evaluation. So as I'm trying to show you here, there is more than one way to structure it, but it always is logical. And that's what's going to strengthen your writing. Now, this is my last slide today, but I do want to leave you with a tip. You see how I have taken the topic sentences out and put them on a new document here. Why don't you do that as you review your next writing, your next piece of writing? Take all your topic sentences out, copy them onto a new document, and see if you can see the logic still running through your writing. It's a great test to see how strong your structure is and how logical your paragraphs are. Now, I'm going to finish now, but I really hope to see you in the Academic Writing and Learning Support course in Stream, in both the academic Q&A and the pre-reading, to get more input into this sort of topic. Thanks everyone, all the best.